now I put myself in a place to do the thing that I've always wanted to do, and that's be an NFL draft pick, and not only that, possibly well, not possibly a first round pick.
Going through your college recruiting process, as you wrote in your Players Tribune letter, many blue blood programs were not interested, and now you're a projected early round pick, Heisman Trophy finalist. How have those experiences kind of been different as far as the recruiting process as in college, and now your pre-draft journey as a highly touted prospect?
Yeah, I think it's just you it's been great. A lot of times, as or even growing up as a athlete, you think that you have to go to these bigger programs to become a highly touted draft pick and go in the first round. But my path is different, and going to a group of five school. But it just gave me that motivation to work harder and to really earn. And nothing's been given to me through this path. But also just thankful for Boise State and believing in me and my abilities, but also helping me bring that to life and develop into one of the best running backs this year.
And I really enjoyed the letter that you wrote in the Players Tribune to the general managers. What was kind of your motivation behind writing that?
Yeah, I think a lot in this process, people have asked, to kind of sell yourself, or what's your pitch to the GM, or what I'm saying. So I think that was a great opportunity to kind of just to the whole world, and obviously everybody who reads, whoever in the NFL and whatever those teams, to really see who the person is, behind the player, what drives me, what motivates me, you know, the confidence that I have, and the abilities that I feel like I'll bring to any team and organization.
And you mentioned what Saquon Barkley just did on that Super Bowl run with the Eagles in the letter. I'm curious, who are your top three running backs in the NFL right now?
Top three. Well, you said the first one. Um, hmm, Number two, I'm gonna go Derrick Henry, and then three, I would say three is a tie for me between Bijan and Jameer Gibbs. I can't pick.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, that's funny that you those names that you just mentioned because I was going to get into all of them just here in a second. There have been a lot of conversations in football the last couple of years, really about running back value. We saw what Derrick Henry did this past season with the Ravens. Saquon, of course, with the Eagles a few years ago. Bijan and Jameer Gibbs entered the league as early draft picks, and now you're kind of the headliner of what is a really strong running back draft class. What would you say to someone who maybe even now still is questioning the value of the running back position?
I think a lot of the teams, who made deeper playoff runs, they had a solid running back, or at least a guy in that position who could make plays for them, and kind of take some of the load off to the quarterback. But I think just from that perspective, right, teams had started moving towards, passing the ball more, and, throwing the ball more, and, defenses, backing up. So, when those guys are, getting covered and you got defense backing up, well, you need somebody to run that ball, be a playmaker to balance your offense out. But also in the same way, to pull defenders down, and that can really increase your passing game attack. And then guys who are really X factor playmakers, right, you can get these guys to run routes and make a splash in the receiving game. It's just all about how you want to use them. But I think and then also there's another ability, and that's to protect the quarterback. And you need a guy who can go in and protect the quarterback on third downs, pick up those blitzers, give him time to deliver passes down the field. So I think if you look at running back from that standpoint, is it's not just running the ball, right? There's three different phases of what a running back does, and I think that brings value to any offense if that guy's doing it at a high level.
Certainly, and you can do it all. You could, like you said, the running the ball, of course, the pass catching, and pass protecting. What are you really looking for in a potential NFL landing spot later this week?
I think first and most important thing is just a great organization. I think it starts, from the top, and trickles down to every little area. So great organization, um, great group of coaches who really are know how to bring the guys that they have skill set to life. Because a lot of times you see a guy gets drafted, he doesn't go to the, you know, I won't say the right system, but not the right situation. And maybe those coaches don't use him properly because everybody has skills and abilities. Some people's are more fine tuned to certain things. Some people's are more broader, more versatile. So I think just to a team that's gonna use me to the best of my abilities, put me in the right situations. Um, and then you want a great group of teammates around you, right? To so that you all can have success together.
And you mentioned that versatility. I think that's, of course, a key part of your game. And you mentioned it a little bit earlier too. You had this sort of unique path. How has your path kind of influenced maybe your play style, some of the skills that you have, in terms of waiting to get on the field in high school, kind of playing some of these different positions. How has that made you more of a well-rounded player and prospect?
Yeah, so I mean, I played all around on the football field from defense, linebacker, safety, to then transitioning to slot receiver junior year. I mean, running back, obviously, senior year, but just being able to play all these different positions, see the game from different aspects, but also to add versatility to my own game. So I'm honestly thankful that that's the way that it happened, and honestly, that's the way it should have because it's made me a better football player right here now today.
And can you talk a little bit about just staying home this past season at Boise State? I imagine there was interest in your services elsewhere in college football, but you stayed home, took the team to the college football playoff. It was a phenomenal record breaking season. Can you just talk about the past season that you had with your team there in Boise State?
Yeah, I mean, I think Um, I stayed really mainly because I knew what we could accomplish as a team. And that would bring me all the personal success that I needed. It always starts with team success first. So winning a championship, making an appearance in the playoffs, and I think also just the relationships that I was able to build, the legacy that I was able to leave behind at Boise State is something that will last forever. And I'm just thankful that I did, stay and didn't just, chase after the instant gratification and, the money, but now I put myself in a place to do the thing that I've always wanted to do, and that's be an NFL draft pick, and not only that, possibly, well, not possibly a first round pick.
Of course, yeah, we're very close to seeing that come to fruition. Is there a play or a game that stands out to you from your college career that you just always remember, something you're very proud of, something like that?
For sure, Washington State. I think that run where I broke a lot of tackles, kind of went for 60. I mean, it's probably my most viewed run, known run, but I think it was just a special run, just showcasing my abilities to, kind of make something when, it's not block perfect, right? And, break tackles, which I said in my letter to GMs, get the guy that can't tackle, right? So, yeah, I think it just showcases my talents, my abilities, and just that big playmaking ability. And I mean, it was crazy. I feel like that really boosted me as a player and my confidence during the season as well.
Definitely. And that kind of leads into the last thing that I wanted to ask you. I liked you just got into it. Your final message to the general managers was to draft the guy that they can't tackle. What would you say to the fan base of the team that does decide to pick you on Thursday?
Man, I think it's known that you're getting a great football player from watching the film and seeing what I did this past year. I think everybody knows that. All the fans know that, but I think most importantly, the person that I am and, the character that I have, and, I'll be able to inspire and influence so many people in a positive way. And you can expect me to be doing a lot of things in the community. See my face all the time, I might just be like another dude in the community, honestly, You won't even realize that I'm, this big time football player. So, that's really just me. And I'm looking forward to whatever fan base community I'm going to, because that's an aspect of the game that you really need, and you really need a good support system behind you and your team.